Hey everyone, welcome back to another manga review, and finally, we're reviewing a manga about Twitter. So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of bought this manga with the impression that it was going to be like bad, or at the very least very goofy, and it is a little bit goofy, I will admit that much. But as you could probably guess by looking at the imagery, it's supposed to be mostly serious. It's a survival game. But now some of you are thinking, what does this have to do with Twitter? Good question. Let's get into it. So the plot follows the main character who has no real friends. What he has instead is a social media account. And this social media account is just simply known as Real Account. And as you can tell by the Real Account logo, it's totally innocent, not evil at all. And they do kind of show you the structure of what this social media account is like, but it's basically Twitter. It's Twitter. The fact of the matter is, this anime is directly insulting Twitter. But now, like I was saying, survival game. How do we get from this to a game in which everyone dies? Well, as it turns out, Real Account is evil. I know, you guys never saw it coming. And all of a sudden, all of the top ranked people on Real Account, all the people who have the most followers, get sucked into the social media universe. It's kind of like an isekai, but not really. So they all get sucked into the world of Real Account. Their bodies are still in the actual real world, and they're forced to compete with each other in order for their souls to get back to their bodies. Now, how they kind of work this out is anyone who's following them will die if they die during this deathmatch. And this whole match is being mainstreamed on their website and on TV, so people watch this, they know what's going on. You know, the police are on it. I'm sure they have guns that defend against magic. But the basic idea is now your followers are on the hook for whether or not you win this survival game. And naturally, a lot of people don't want to be on the hook for that, so they are unfollowing you. And part of the way you can die during this deathmatch is if you get down to 0 followers. So of course people who don't want to die, if you die, they're going to be unfollowing you. But there are some like hardcore fans of yours who will stay on the hook anyway and root for you to win. Let's say if they were to suddenly realize secrets about you, dirty little secrets that reveal you're not a very nice person, they may not be a hardcore fan anymore and unfollow you, and that could drop down to 0 yet again. It's an interesting little mechanic that they put in there. But other than that, there are of course other games that they play that can kill you. And the mastermind behind this social media site seems to just want to kill as many of these people as possible. So in a way, it's kind of a critique on how a lot of people view their social media account to be more important than their real life, to hold so much importance, to like define themselves as people. Like, oh, if you have a lot of followers, you must be really popular, you must be really cool, you must be a really nice person. Otherwise, why would you have this many followers? But there are a lot of followers who just follow you for like simple reasons and not necessarily because they know you personally. And if those people knew that they had a chance of dying just for following you, then I'm sure they probably wouldn't follow you anymore. So, you know, maybe it shouldn't be valued as much as it is to have a lot of followers online. Maybe what should be valued is the people in real life that we communicate with without being attached to an evil social media site like Twitter. I mean Real Account. And that's basically the realization that the main character has in his role in all of this. Because basically the only person who will follow him will be his sister. Will be family. And even more so, he's not really sure if he wants his sister to keep following him, because then she's on the hook if he dies during this death match. The irony of it being that the people who are most loyal to you will also be punished for being loyal to you. You know, I'm not usually into the gritty stuff or the anti-human rhetoric, but I do have to say, for whatever reason, I've enjoyed quite a few deathmatch survival game type animes. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just keep on running into that same exact story just being well written over and over again. I do think that this was a good read. But granted, I've only gotten 2 or 3 volumes into the story. And I do like that basic idea of having like certain rules to the game, and of course having the main character being able to figure out a way to bypass the rules. You know, it makes you confident as the audience that the main character is of course going to be the one to live through all of this. But they do also introduce you to other characters besides the main character. People that you don't want to die, but you're pretty sure will die anyway, because I think that they're only gonna have one person survive throughout this whole thing unless they can figure out a way to get rid of the mastermind behind it all. And even though we're introduced to this main character, and I did grow to like him and think that he's interesting, especially when his big secret gets revealed, not to spoil anything, of course. This series seems to do something really bizarre. Without spoiling too much, I will just only say this. After a while of reading, all of a sudden they just decide to poof, switch main characters, which is something I have never seen before in my life. I've only seen that when the writer decided that they just wanted to rewrite the story. And they don't really explain what's happening when it happens, so I just assumed that I was reading volume 1 again, like I had mixed up the volumes or something, because all of a sudden, like, the story is just playing itself out all over again, only the main character is different. So it's pretty bizarre, but the idea, I think anyway, is that it's an alternative universe where a different main character is facing the same survival game. I just don't understand why. And it really did throw me off, which is one of the reasons why I put down the series for a while. Even though I was enjoying it, even though I am curious to see where it goes, even though I fucking love the premise of Twitter being evil, it's a huge move to just all of a sudden switch main characters. And like right at the point in time where I was like starting to really like the main character, all of a sudden now I have a completely different character that I've gotta warm up to. It's very bold. I gotta give the writer credits that they made a very bold decision. I'm just not sure if it's a very smart decision. But granted, even switching main characters, I still find the deathmatch games to be interesting and fun to read. So one of the first games that they actually play is this game where there will be judges who judge whether or not the contestants are attractive with an X or no. Now the contestants have to guess themselves whether or not they are attractive, and then put the answer on their back, so the judges can't see what their answer is. But if their prediction doesn't match what the judges say, they get killed. If the judge lies about their answer, they get killed. So it's an interesting little mind game, I think. And it kind of, this game in particular kind of reminded me of those Jubilee videos where like the guys and girls rank each other based on their own personal idea of attractiveness, and they rank each other very, very differently, of course, because people have different opinions on what attractive really is. And likewise, that also comes up in this game where somebody is like just average looking and the judges aren't really sure what to rate him. So they all have mixed answers, and if you get mixed answers, you get killed anyway. So it's a difficult game that, one, challenges your pride, being able to admit like what attractiveness you are, but two, also being able to actually guess what the judges are going to say to make sure that a tie doesn't happen. And I'm sure, of course, that you yourselves could find ways around this game, and the main character finds a few ways around this game. But I think that's also part of the fun, is like finding loopholes for how you can win. I will admit, I do like psychological horror. I'm not like a big fan of just random gore, disgusting type horror stuff, but I like psychology a lot. So I'm super into psychological horror, and this has a lot of psychology behind it, naturally. So I will say that from what I've read, I have enjoyed this series. There are some strange decisions that could make you feel like it's not really worth reading or worth finding out, you know, the secrets or how it ends. But I think the games are interesting to read, and the characters, although they're very different and switch at the snap of the fingers, they're both interesting in different ways. So at some point I will finish reading this series, and I would recommend it. But definitely let me know if you have read this manga series yourself and what your feelings are about it. Have you read the ending? What do you think? Also, have I told you about Stone Clean Soap at stonecleansoap.com? How are you ever gonna get those bloodstains out without Stone Clean Soap at stonecleansoap.com? Discount code DANFAN. As usual, guys, thank you for watching. Remember to leave a like and comment down below. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, bye!
Program restart.